Okay, guys, so welcome to my workshop. Today we're just going to be going over some wellness techniques. We're going to be doing some art and some poetry as well. So yeah, it's going to be a fun afternoon. It probably won't be as long as advertised, but we'll see. We'll see where the time takes us and yeah, how things develop. Is my screen too dark? Like, can you?
It's dark. It is dark.
Okay.
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Don't watch the messy living room. Okay, this is so much better. All right, so guys, let us introduce ourselves. So I want you to say your name and an interesting fact. If the fact is not interesting, then we're going to put a thumbs down. And if it is, then you get a thumbs up. So you gotta come with them interesting facts. Oh, someone's just coming in. Let me explain that again. Hello. Celorum, am I pronouncing that right?
Selom.
Selom, okay. Hiya. So we're just,
Sorry, I'm late.
That's fine, that's fine. We're just doing our introductions. And yeah, so as I was explaining to the group, I want everybody to say their name and an interesting fact about themselves. If the group thinks it's an interesting fact, put thumbs up. And if we think it's absolutely terrible, you could do better, thumbs down. So yeah, have to come with interesting. Pressure, I know, pressure. Okay, so who wants to go first? Okay, I guess I should go first.
When you say interesting fact, is it about anything or about yourself?
About yourself.
Okay.
I mean, there's something interesting about everyone, so I also don't want to hear, there's nothing interesting about me. There definitely is. There definitely is. Okay, so my name is Kirsty, and my interesting fact is a few people have tattoos of my face on their body.
What?
Yeah. So I think that's a thumbs up, right?
The thumbs up.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Next person.
Michael.
Michael, you gonna go up?
Give me time to. Actually, I need time to think about what I'm going to say quickly. Just.
Okay. That's cool.
How do you do that thumbs up on the screen?
I want to know as well.
If you just click reactions next to the record button.
Ah.
Okay, I'll go next then. Hi everyone, my name's Antoinette, but my friends call me Ants. An interesting fact, so I'm an accountant by day, or I was before lockdown, but I'm on furlough at the moment. So on the side, I've been learning to Forex trade, and I've also started baking and started a little baking business.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I'll give that a thumbs up.
Thank you.
Interesting. Who is next?
Sorry, I was talking on mute. Hi, my name is Selom. Interesting about me. Well, I'm forgetting, but I speak Mandarin because I did that at uni. My cousin and I are currently trying to build a website to basically create a library of all Black British entities. So not just like a business directory where you only get like businesses, but also like Black British charities, artists and things like that, so that people don't have to just go to Google and be searching for their lives. They have like a one-stop shop where they can just explore and just see what's out there in one place. We're still a deep, like early development, but that's what I'm trying to occupy my time with whilst I'm on furlough.
I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. Okay, next person. A couple of you are hiding. I'm introducing yourselves. Elshina?
Yeah. Kirsty, I definitely need a bit more time. I don't have it. Yeah, I don't even want to say the mortal words, but I need, please.
Okay, if you can't think of something which you deem as interesting, tell us just an interesting fact, if you know any then.
An interesting fact.
Or a funny story that's happened to you, or most famous person that you've met, your favorite shows.
Okay, interesting fact, and it is factual. It may not be, it's the only thing I can think of. Okay, last year I survived a gas explosion and I walked away from it, all limbs intact.
And you said there's nothing interesting. That is really bloody interesting.
Yeah, it was traumatic, but I'm over it now, so it's fine.
Oh my gosh, we thank God that you survived. That you're good. Damn, okay.
Yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Michael.
All right. My name's Michael, and interesting fact about me is where do I even start? I can start off with like I'm more kind-hearted and friendly than people may assume. I have a blog based on encouragement, motivation, and empowering Black women, and what else? Around February 2018, I believe it or not, I was in a car crash, but it was minor. It wasn't like heavy, but yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. I'm glad we didn't have to put a thumbs down to anyone. It's happened before, I'll have you know. It's happened before. But you're an interesting group of people, which is good. So yeah, just a bit more about the workshop. So also, where did you guys find out about it or hear about it?
On your Instagram.
On Twitter last night, just via Own It.
Yes.
Following them, but I saw your picture first. Somebody retweeted your picture with the invite to this afternoon, and then I followed Own It off the back of that.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So Own It are an amazing publishing company, and I have a book with them, which I just happen to have right here. Yeah, Reflections of Me. So they published my first book, my debut book, which is an art and poetry book. So they were given the opportunity to put on this festival. So all of us authors are putting together workshops, talks, performances, loads of different things, just to spread some light and some love and some positivity in these times where things are quite difficult and yeah, quite dark. So today, hopefully, I can put a smile on your faces. So what I want to start with, so actually we're going to start with a bit of charades. So another little icebreaker. It's going to be very easy. I just want you to act out something that I'm going to message you. It's going to be very easy. Very easy. Who do I want to go first? Are you lot good at acting?
No.
Okay. All right, well, the first person has got one, so let us wait for the acting.
We can't see everyone's picture though. Not everyone's on video on here.
They're not, but they can shout out what they think it is if you
Okay.
act it out.
Okay.
So yeah, I've messaged you, Elshina, on the Zoom chat.
Oh, how? But this is only my second ever Zoom call. So.
Oh really? Oh gosh.
Where will I find that, my love?
So if you, it should be on the right-hand side of Zoom, and it should have chat.
Yeah, there's two. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Chat.
So you'll see my message that's sent to you privately, basically.
Okay. I've got that now. Oh, okay.
So guys, shout out if you think you know what she's acting out.
Throwing and catching.
Picking mango.
Basketball. Your friend.
There we go.
Thank you. Who got that?
Antoinette got that.
Thank you, Antoinette.
Okay, Michael, are you good to do one?
I'll give it a shot.
Okay, cool. And then this will be the last one. I'm going to give you an easy one. I'm going to give you an easy one. Right, I've sent it to you.
Okay.
Washing your hair.
Yeah.
Easy. Literally easy peasy. Okay. Well, yeah. So that's that done. So basically, what I want to start the day with is a bit of meditation. So have any of you guys tried that before at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so for me, I use meditation to basically help get my mind in the right place, help to calm me down, and sometimes to start my day, because it can be the best way for me, basically. So what we're going to be doing is trying out, we're going to do 2 different types of meditation. And we're going to be doing some mindfulness as well. And techniques like mindfulness, they focus on, they help you focus on like particular objects or particular thoughts, basically. And yeah, studies have shown a lot about meditation and how it can reduce stress, how it can kind of help with anxiety and just promote in promoting positive mental well-being as well. So what I'm going to be doing is a breathing meditation with you guys. So first of all, if you can get somewhere comfortable, make sure you're sitting in like a comfortable chair, that you're relaxed, that your shoulders are relaxed, that you're sitting up. I'm going to be playing some music and I'm going to be taking you through some instructions. Try to block out basically everything else that's kind of in your background or that's going on, and try to focus on my voice. Can be difficult at first and it's a bit weird to close your eyes and listen to some random girl talking, but let's give it a shot. So I'm just gonna start the music, if it will play. Okay. So can you close your eyes first of all? Make sure that you're seated comfortably. Make sure your hands are also resting wherever they are comfortable. Sorry, this music. Concentrate on your breathing. Notice your body from the inside out, and let yourself completely relax. Feel the connection with the chair or wherever you're sitting, and relax the areas of tension and stress around your body. Feel the sensation of your breath. Feel how it moves throughout your body. And notice where you feel that breath in your body. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Where do you feel the breath the most? If your mind is wandering, accept it, but try to gently bring it back to your breathing. Feel the breath going in and out, in and out. Hold your breath for a few seconds and then release. Feel your breath traveling through your body. Feel every movement. Keep breathing deeply. And feel where you feel the breath the most. Is it in your mouth? Is it in your throat, your chest, your stomach? Where do you feel it? Bring your thoughts back to your breathing. And concentrate on that. Slowly start to remember the room that you're in. Remember where things are without opening your eyes. Remember the chair or the place that you're sitting. And slowly bring yourself back to your surroundings. Feel your body on the chair. And you can slowly start to open your eyes. Okay, how are we feeling after some mindfulness?
Very
How
relaxed.
did you find it?
Feel very relaxed.
Okay.
Less stress.
That's good. That's good. I would definitely recommend this. There's loads of videos on YouTube of people giving these mindfulness commands, and for me, it always just like I'm even calm now, and I didn't even close my eyes, but it just puts me in such a nice kind of thought process as well to kind of begin tasks and do what I need to do, basically. So also, guys, there is an art section. Does everybody have something that they can draw on as well, like paper, pencils, or anything like that?
I could do something on my phone.
Okay. All right. We'll cross that bridge when we reach it in a minute. But the next thing I want to do is some affirmations with you guys. So those of you who are on mute, you can unmute yourselves, or if you don't want us to hear your beautiful voices, you can stay off mute. But what we're going to be doing is I'm going to read you an affirmation, and I just want you to repeat it. I want to hear conviction in your voices. I want you to believe the affirmations that we're going to be saying today. And yeah, so I'm just going to get into it. I wake up today with strength in my heart.
Wake up today with strength in my heart.
I wake up today with clarity in my mind.
I wake up today with clarity in my mind.
You guys, if you want to join in, you can join in as well.
All at the same time?
Yeah, all at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. Clarity in my mind.
More voices together is more strength, more belief. Okay. I am the architect of my life.
I am the architect of my life.
I am loved.
I am loved.
I am worthy.
I am worthy.
I am enough.
I am worthy. I am enough.
I am a conqueror.
I am a conqueror.
I am my own person.
I am my own person.
I am not people's expectations of me.
I am not people's expectations of me.
I am my own person.
I am my own person.
I forgive those who have harmed me in the past.
I forgive those who have harmed me in the past.
And peacefully detach from them.
And peacefully detach from them.
I possess the qualities needed to be extremely successful.
I possess the qualities needed
to be extremely successful.
Creative energy surges through me.
Creative
energy surges through me.
I have been given endless talents.
I have been given endless talents.
I will be wealthy.
I will be
wealthy.
Today, I abandon old habits.
Today, I abandon old habits.
And take up more positive ones. Okay. Does anybody have any other affirmations that they would like to add for us all to say?
I believe I do. Let me see.
I've got one.
Yeah, go ahead, Ants.
I will not let fear stop me from achieving my dreams.
Okay, so I will not let fear stop me achieving my dreams.
I will not let
fear stop me from achieving my dreams.
I really like that one. Really like that. Michael, you said that you may have some.
I am free from all things that hold me back. I am more than a conqueror.
Can you repeat that for me?
I am free from all things that hold me back. I am more than a conqueror.
I am free from all things that hold me back. I am more than a conqueror. Very powerful.
I am living a life that God has designed to bear fruit.
I am living a life. Sorry, can you repeat that?
I am living a life that God has designed to bear fruit.
I am living a life that God has designed to bear fruit. I like that.
Me too.
I am a light, I shine in every darkness.
I am a light, I shine in every darkness.
Good one.
I am blessed and favor follows me.
I'm blessed and favor follows me.
God has a plan just for me. I don't need to worry.
God has a plan just for me. I don't need to worry.
Every gift that God has placed in me, I use for his glory.
Every gift that God has placed in me, I use for his glory.
Fear has no place in my life. I am full of faith.
Fear has no place in my life. I am full of faith.
I seek the approval of God, not man.
I seek the approval of God, not man.
I am bold. I am confident. I have a sound mind.
I am bold. I am confident. I have a sound mind.
Today, I'll be grateful for all I have. And as I'm grateful, I'll be blessed with more and more amazing opportunities.
Today, I am grateful. And I forgot the rest. I will be blessed.
Oh, let me repeat it. Today, I will be grateful for all I have. And as I'm grateful, I'll be blessed with more and more amazing opportunities.
Okay. Yeah, these are really, really good and really powerful. I really like affirmations because it makes you say things out loud. And sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes you can think things in your head like, oh yeah, I'm powerful, oh, I'm loved. But when you say it out loud, you have conviction in your voice, you have conviction in your heart. And the more you say things, the more you will start to believe it. And sometimes, no matter how many other people say something, you'll only really truly believe it if you say it to yourself and if you believe it from yourself. So that's the mindfulness section kind of wrapped up. And it leads me into my proper introduction. So I'm not sure how much you guys know about me, but I will tell you a little bit about my story and basically how I've come to be delivering workshops like this to you guys today. So I've always been creative since I was a child. I started drawing when I was able to write. I would always draw whenever my mum would take me places, and it was something that I enjoyed so much. And growing up, I grew up with my mum and my dad until he left. And then, yeah, I was raised by a strong Jamaican woman. And yeah, like growing up was a very interesting time, but I had a good childhood. And as I got older, I realized my love for just all things creative. So I did a lot of drawing and I did a lot of poetry as well. But the poetry actually started from rapping. So embarrassing story. I used to rap when I was in secondary school. And one time I liked this boy and I told him, hey, like, you know, I like you. Do you like me too? We'd been talking on the phone for weeks. He would call me all the time, like, oh, hey, you know, all of that. And he was like, yeah, sorry, don't like you. I'm not looking for a relationship right now. And I was like, oh, okay. And the next day, he asked my friend out, and then they became boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah. Devastating. So
You couldn't even wait a week.
The next day. Wow.
The only response was obviously to write some bars and clash him, right? So that's what I did. I wrote some rap bars, I organized a clash, and I was like, yeah, 3 p.m. after school, meet me at my school gate. And I had a clash and I delivered these bars that I had wrote to him about him having a big head and a dry lip and, you know, some other stuff. So that's actually where the poetry journey started, because it started from rap, and then I realized, okay, Kirsty, you're not going to be a rapper. So how can you develop that? So I decided to kind of transition it into poetry. So I started writing poetry in secondary school. I had already been drawing, and yeah, it came to the time when I was ready to go to university. But throughout my whole school experience, nobody actually pushed me to study anything creative. So I didn't study art, I didn't do anything around creative writing, and I didn't even do art GCSE. A lot of people are surprised when I tell them. I literally had no art training. And when I did my degree was in English language and communications. So again, nothing to do with art or anything like that. And it was whilst I was at uni that I actually started to think more about my mental health, because it started to deteriorate. And these were issues that I had identified from about the age of 13, when I was in secondary school, feeling these feelings of depression, but not knowing exactly what it was or how I could basically stop it or make it any better. So because I didn't seek help, I didn't really talk to anybody, it's like it started off this big and then it just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew until I just broke down in the second year of my degree to my friends. And I just started crying and crying, and I was explaining to them just everything that I thought was wrong. I had really low self-esteem. I was really self-conscious. And because my family has a health condition called Marfan syndrome, those worries were also in there, because it's something that affects the connective tissue. So it affects a lot in the body. So it affected my spine, my legs. It's the reason why I'm so tall. I'm 6'2", by the way. Why I have long limbs, why I wear glasses, loads of things. So there were so many things that attributed to these feelings of depression, and I just didn't know how to cope. So my friend suggested that I see a counsellor that was at uni, which I did, and the counsellor changed everything. When I first walked into the room, it was a middle-aged white guy that was sitting there, and I just looked at him and I was just thinking, there's no way that this man can help me with anything. However, I prejudged him, and I was wrong. He helped change everything for me. He provided, I guess, just a different lens to look through life, and I started to become more optimistic. So I finished my degree, graduated, my mom and my dad came, it was amazing, and I went out into the world of work, but I didn't really feel like I had a place in my workplace. It didn't feel like this is what I wanted to do. So I decided to quit my job and pursue a life of art. It was very random, but I spoke to my mum and I said, okay, Mum, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna do art. And I waited for her to shout at me. I waited for her to be like, what are you doing? But she was very understanding, and she was like, okay, if that's what you want to do, then you do that, because it's not going to be me that's going to work for you. Like, you have to enjoy the work that you're doing. So with that blessing, I basically quit my job, and that was it. So this was in December 2014. So I started to do some commissions, and also, when I first started art, guys, I used to charge £15 for art pieces, which would take me like 8 hours to do. £15. That was in the beginning. So I was like, yeah, I'm getting paid. I was not getting paid. I was not getting money like that. But it was just such an achievement to get physical money from something that I love doing. For me, that was like, wow, people are paying me. So I started to do commissions in December 2014, and the next year, January 2015, is when basically, sorry, that was in December 2015, and the next year, January 2016, is when everything kind of changed. And my mum was feeling ill at the time, so we'd gone for a hospital appointment. And long story short, she was booked in, she was meant to be booked in for an operation, which they had said was an emergency operation. It needed to happen. So we've gone to the hospital now, and I'm like, doctor, you know, what's going on? He said that this operation, we need to do it. What's happening? And he looked at his notes and he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. The correct information hasn't been passed to the right doctor, so we don't have a date for the operation. And I was like, okay, but you guys are saying that this is an emergency operation, that it's very serious. And I was like, well, how serious is this? And the doctor turned around and said to me and my mum, or said to me, your mum could drop down dead tomorrow. And unfortunately, that is exactly what happened. The next day, my mum started to feel ill, and I called my brother, who lived about 4 minutes down the road, and I said, I don't really know what to do. She wasn't violently ill, she had just thrown up, and that was it. But I was concerned enough, so I called him, we assessed the situation, and we called the ambulance. The ambulance took 40 minutes to come. And when we were on our way to the hospital, they didn't put their sirens on. And also the ambulance got lost on their way to my house as well. So we get to the hospital now, my mum is still talking, she's fine, she just wasn't feeling too well. They take her off for some scans, and then a doctor comes into the family waiting room, takes everybody else out, and it's just me and my brother. And he just says, I'm so sorry, we've tried everything, but her heart stopped beating. And that had happened on the way to one of the scans. And that moment changed everything. It changed my whole life. It flipped everything upside down, because I just got back up with my mental health. I just got back up in life. I was feeling good, and this thing had just come and happened so unexpectedly. Despite having this pre-warning, it's not something that you would take seriously, that the doctor had told us the day before. So I was now faced with this just awful situation. And me and my mum were really close. It was only me and her that lived together. So it was really difficult. So I started to kind of retreat from everybody, and I told my friends, you know, I'm never going to draw again, because I felt so guilty for drawing when I knew that my mum had passed away. I knew that she was gone, so I shouldn't be able to be happy. And I knew that art made me happy. So I decided, you know what? I'm not going to draw. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve to be happy. And my friends, they tried and they tried and they tried to get me away from this kind of thought process. And one of my friends encouraged me to draw. And after a lot of back and forth, I was like, okay, fine, what should I draw? And a friend said, you should draw your feelings, draw what's going on in your mind. So I took some time and I thought about it, and that is the image that I showed you guys earlier with my art. So I'll show you the canvas a bit later. But this is what I drew, because this is exactly how I felt. I felt that I was crying, but I had to put on this mask to everybody, to my friends, to my family. I was the one that had to be strong for my older brother, for his kids. I had to host everybody in my house because everybody was coming over. I had to be strong. It was so difficult, so difficult. But I did it, and I put this image out, and unexpectedly, it went viral all over the internet. And I was kind of taken aback. So I'm just admitting somebody in. Hello, Brocam, who has just entered. I'm just giving a little kind of description about my story. So yeah, so after my mum had passed away and I'd drawn this art piece, I put it out online and everybody was sharing it. And I was so shocked because I wasn't ready for this. And then people started to reach out to me and kind of offload their own emotional baggage on me. And this was only two to 3 months after my mum had passed away, so I couldn't handle it. But what I did do is I kept on creating art that spoke to how I was feeling, my emotions, my grief, my bereavement, everything. I really just wanted to I wanted to put my negative emotions into something positive, because I realized there were two paths. I could go down the path of destruction and do a madness and go and just ruin my body or do just loads of things that would negatively impact me, or I could turn the negative emotions into something positive and achieve something with it, whether that be to help myself or to help other people. So I realized after some months that the images that I was creating, it wasn't just my own therapy, but it became therapy for other people. And it helped people so much. I started to get messages from people saying that my art had helped them. And it was really strange at first, because I was like, well, the art isn't really for you. But then I realized that once you put something onto the internet, that it belongs to the world. It really belongs to the world. And my art started to belong to the world. And it was so strange, but it was so powerful. And my interest, in fact, at the beginning was that a couple people have my face tattooed on them. So the explanation of that is that same art piece that I've showed you from my book. There are 3 people in this world who I don't know who have my face, that image, because it's a self-portrait, tattooed on their bodies. And for me, just knowing how powerful that was and how I was able to transform my art into something that is long lasting, like that art is going to last forever. It's on somebody's skin. And I just started to realize the power I had with the tools, which is just my gift. I felt like I had a gift. And I just wanted to use it. So I began, after I started to heal myself, I began to put out intentional works to help heal other people now. And I started to do a lot of interviews. So the first time that kind of a lot of my friends even knew that I did this kind of thing was when I appeared on BBC Breakfast News. And everyone was like, oh, okay. And that was literally my first interview, guys. I'd been tweeting my art, and BBC Breakfast, someone from there reached out to me and was like, hey, do you want to be on the news? And I was like, yeah, because why not? And I wasn't ready, guys. What I hadn't really clocked was that millions of people watched that show, millions. And the amount of people that reached out to me after that was just insane. I was like, hi, I've seen you on BBC, oh, hi. And everything just kind of took off from then. So I started to do more stuff in the media, more stuff with press, basically talking about how to turn your pain into your passion, and how to not let negative situations basically keep you down. They can get you down, but they should never keep you down. And that's what I just was really trying to share with people, and share the most important message, that you are not alone. Because there's so many of us that go through these struggles and feel exactly like how I felt on that book cover, and they don't say anything. And I really wanted to just let people know that I'm here, I see you, and this art is for you. So I started doing a lot of art. I started to do more poetry, readings and performances. And I was performing all over London. I was performing in Hertfordshire, which is where I went to uni. And sorry, 1 second. And I started to perform everywhere, and people were really taking to my creativity. So I started doing university talks. I went to prison. No, I didn't go to prison. I was invited. I was invited to Belmarsh prison, which is obviously it was a very high security prison. And yeah, it has the murderers in, it has the terrorists in, it has everything. And they said, hey, do you want to come and talk to these inmates? And of course I said, yeah, because why not? And I went in there, and I was able to talk a lot to these inmates, and I had created a piece of art that had really spoke to them. And it was used for a workshop that was put on in a prison to reform the young men. So I got to speak to them, and as soon as I went in, they was like, oh, miss, I've got your art in my cell. And for me, I was like, oh, it's quite nice. It's like someone saying I have my, your art on my wall at home. So I just realized that even in the prison population, that I was able to help and to reach people. So that's basically what I have been doing. That's what I do now. I go around and I deliver talks on mental health and creativity. I talk about my own experiences, and I just, as I said, try to provide that that message of you are not alone in what you're going through. So, and a couple of years ago, Own It, who put on this festival, so I can be here with you guys today, reached out to me and said, hey, have you ever thought about putting your art and your poetry together? I was like, it's a good idea. And that is how the book was born. We worked on it together, and basically the book is an art and poetry book, which focuses on the themes of identity, mental health, womanhood, and masculinity. And it focuses on those topics through using art and poetry to, get a message across. So basically, that's how I have come to be here with you guys today. And what I want to do for the rest of the workshop is a little art and poetry exercise. So if you guys are down, if you do have any paper or pencils or pens, I would ask if you could try and find them, or if you, prepared. Very prepared. 1 second. Oh no, sorry. I'm replying to the wrong person. Sorry, I'm trying to reply to this group chat thingamajig. I also don't understand how to use this. Okay, cool. So let me know with like a thumbs up if you have your art stuff ready. So yeah, anything, just a pencil, a paper, can't talk. A piece of paper and a pencil or a pen is fine enough. And what we're going to be doing is we are going to fold that piece of paper into 4. So into 4 sections. So fold it in half and then fold it again. Okay, and let me know when everybody has done that.
Done.
Cool. Okay, so what I'm going to be asking you to do is I'm going to be, where are we? Okay, I'm going to be giving you a word, and I want you to draw. I need my phone as well, so I'm going to be timing this. I want you to draw what you think, what first comes to mind, what you think when I say the word. And yeah, so there's no wrong or right answer. It's literally however you interpret the word. So I'm going to read a word and you're going to have 1 minute. I want you to draw something in 1 square of that 4. So to start off, sorry, are those instructions clear enough?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So let me get my timer up. 1 second. So I will let you know when the minute starts. Timer, okay. Cool, so the first word that you're gonna be doing in 1 of those 4 squares is loyalty. So what comes to mind when I say the word loyalty? So you can draw anything that you associate with that word. If you do have color pencils, you can use colors. But what do you think when I say the word loyalty? I'm going to start the time now. I know it can be difficult, but just try to think what comes to mind. Loyalty, is it a friend? Is it a family? Is it a particular word or color? Is it something else? And that is your time. So, oh no, it's starting again already. All right, we may have a chance to come back to these at the end as well. So the next word, which is going to be drawn in your 2nd square, or the next phrase or whatever, is self-love. So self-love. When I say self-love, what does that mean to you? What do you envision? Yeah, how do you encapsulate that? I'm going to start your time now. word is self-love.
Sorry, I just had to pop to the toilet. Did I miss any words after loyalty?
Yeah, so after we're just on self-love, so I'll give you some time to do self-love. Okay, that time is up, but somebody else is just joining. So I'm just gonna wait until she's here. Okay, so Selim, you can take this time to do self-love. So I'll just
Okay, I've done it.
You've done it, okay. Cool. The third word that we're going to be doing is happiness. We're going to be doing the word happiness. Hello, Simone, who has just joined us. Has she disappeared? Did she? Yeah. So Simone, we're just doing an art exercise. Do you have a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen? If you do, okay, so we'll just wait a little bit just so Simone can get that all together. So what we've been doing so far, we've introduced ourselves, we did some mindfulness techniques, and then we, there was a little introduction from myself, basically explaining who I am, what I do, and why we're here. So we're doing our first art exercise. Do you have your pen and paper ready? You can give me like a thumbs up or you can message.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, fantastic. So if you can fold your piece of paper into 4 for me. So fold it in half and then fold it in half again. And what we're doing is I'm giving the group a word to basically draw, to depict in each one of those 4 squares that you should have on your piece of paper now. So the 2 words that we've done so far is loyalty and self-love. We're just about to do the 3rd word, so you can join in on the 3rd, and then you can basically catch up after we've finished, if that's okay. Cool. All right. You can mute yourself as well if you want, and just unmute yourself if you want to talk or say anything. Perfect. Okay, so the 3rd word, which is going to be going in your 3rd box, is loyalty. So what comes to mind when I say loyalty? What images? I want you to draw your happiness. I want you to draw your depiction of happiness. What does it mean? What does it look like? Is happiness a person? Is it a place? Get creative and have a think. And I'm going to start your 1-minute timer now. The word is happiness. You're halfway through your time. Okay, that is your time. So the fourth and final word on this side of paper is safety. So when I say the word safety, what does it mean? What are the first things that pop up in your mind? Is safety a place? Is it somewhere you've been before? Is safety a color? Is it a person? What makes you feel safe? I'm going to start your time now. So safety. And that is time. So I want you guys to turn over your pieces of paper and we're going to do the back. So the back should also be in 4 sections. And we're going to be doing 4 more words. And the first word on the other side of your piece of paper is fear. When I say fear, what is it that comes to mind? Is it one of your fears? Is it a range of them? Is it something that you're scared of? Is it something that you've conquered, that you used to be scared of? What is it? So the word is fear. And I'm going to start the time now. You're about halfway through. And that is your time. And the second word on your other piece of paper is gratitude. When I say gratitude, what comes to mind? Is it something that you're grateful for? Is it gratitude towards a certain thing? What visual things come to mind when I say gratitude? And I'm going to start your time now. gratitude. And if you can't think of something to draw for gratitude, just write something you're grateful for. It's literally that simple. There's no wrong or right answer. So the next word is belonging. When I say belonging or belong, what does that mean? Is it a feeling that you felt in the past? Is it a place where you felt like you belonged? What is it? Belonging. And I'm going to start the time now. And remember, guys, there isn't a right or wrong answer. Whatever comes to your mind, just draw it. You also don't have to be an artist. Don't have to be Picasso. Just draw what's on your mind. Belonging. Belonging. Okay, that is your time. And the last word is me, meaning yourselves. What comes to mind? What comes to mind? How do you describe yourself? How do you depict yourself in an image? What images come to mind when you think of yourself? Is it your characteristics? Is it something about your physical attributes? What comes to mind when you think of yourself? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it neutral? So have a think, and I'm going to start the time now. You got about 15 seconds. What comes to mind when you think of yourself? Okay, right, that is done. Simone, if you didn't get the first two words, which I think you missed, it's loyalty and self-love. So you can draw them if you want, or yeah. So how did we find that exercise? How did you guys find trying to draw what your thoughts were or what was on your mind? You can unmute yourselves and yeah, let me know how you found it.
Not too bad, to be honest. I mean, for someone that wasn't really good at art, nor was I wanted to excel in it, like, this has given me an idea of like wanted to like somewhat, you know, get back into something that you thought you wasn't good at.
That's good. That's good. A lot of people, when I tell them I do art, they say, "Oh, I'm terrible at art." I genuinely don't believe anyone can be terrible, because there's so many different types of art. People are like, "Oh, I can only draw stick men." There's people that make a living of selling paintings of stick men. So it's just a perspective thing. I think everybody can be a good artist if they try. And you don't have to have studied it. I didn't study it, and yeah, so I'll definitely encourage you, Michael, to do a bit more than if you enjoyed this exercise. How did the rest of you find it?
For me, it was just about, because I haven't really honed my skills, I knew what I wanted to express. I just, in some of the pictures, it would probably require explanation, because what I know what I'm drawing, but because I can't put it to paper as representative as it could be, that's all. But it was really interesting to be able to think about how I would express the different words that you said.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. Sometimes it can be difficult when there's like a difference between your mind and then what you're physically drawing. But what I would say is it's just practice. Because sometimes I can have an idea about what I want to do in my head, but if I don't like do any research, or if I don't have something physical to look at, it can be a challenge. So I definitely suggest like doing activities like this a bit more if this is something you're interested in, exploring your artistic skills more. Does anybody else want to share some thoughts about how they found that exercise?
I found it quite challenging. I've always thought that I would like to be an artist, like with drawing, but this has been, I mean, it's been good because it makes you reflect. It's been quite a reflective exercise. It's made you have to think, you know, this is about me. I should be able to put something down, but actually with the time pressure, you know, the minute you kind of have to, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I did.
That is good. I know it's a difficult exercise, that's why I gave it to you guys. But I thought I'd drop you in the deep end first. But yeah, it is challenging because the time pressure makes you want to get something down fast. And sometimes if you really want to do something, you don't have enough time, you end up creating something that you're not completely happy with, or you wish you did a little different. But the exercise is not about perfection. It's not even about artistic skills. It is more of a reflective artistic exercise, and how we perceive certain words and how we translate our thoughts into something physical. So is anybody willing to share with us maybe one or two of their words and show us what they drew for it? This is a judgment-free zone, so we're not going to judge anybody's artwork. It's just to see different interpretations of the same word. So yeah, if anybody does feel comfortable, I'd be very interested to see and yeah, hear a bit of an explanation as to why it was created.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Let me set up. What words do you want to get? Sorry, I'm wearing my hair bonnet. This is why my camera is not on.
Listen, we appreciate the hair bonnet and all. You can choose any of the words. Like, what ones did you feel really strongly about, or what images are your favorite ones that you created?
Well, I'll pick a controversial one then. This is the image I drew for gratitude, and it's basically a bin bag with flies all over it. And the reason why I drew this is because I have a very counter opinion to the idea of gratitude that I see online, which is that people can be suffering and really calling out for help, but because a lot of people who reply to them don't understand the value of knowing how to bounce back, resilience and introspection, all they say is, oh, just be grateful you're not homeless, just be grateful that you don't have cancer, just be grateful, blah blah, instead of actually teaching them how they can look into why they're feeling the way they're feeling, and then work through whatever conflict they have within themselves to be able to overcome that feeling. So that's why it's me in a bin bag with flies over me saying, at least I'm in a bag, at least all my rubbish is in a bag, basically. So that's my one for gratitude.
Really interesting. Okay, I really like that. It's an interesting kind of depiction of the word, because yeah, a lot of the time you think you would go down the path of something quite just, yeah, like gratitude, something you are grateful for, but I like the twist that you gave, because it's true, a lot of people do say that, oh, just be grateful you're alive, be grateful that you have a roof over your head, be grateful, and it's almost as if
stop complaining, I don't want to hear about your worries.
That
For
we're
example,
not allowed to have any other problems because we're so blessed, which is not the case.
Exactly. For example, one time I was at work and someone asked me how I was, and I said, "Oh, I don't know why, but I'm just not in a good mood today." And then my colleague said to me, "You should just be thankful you're not a person with cancer dying in the hospital." And I was like, I looked after my mum who had cancer twice since I was 10 years old. I had to think about her every single night when I was trying not to cry myself to sleep. So no thank you with your useless statements there. I got vexed. I was just like, if you can't say anything, if you can't handle that I'm just not having a good day today, just say to me, well, tomorrow's a new day. I hope you feel better tomorrow or something. So I was just like, are you mad? A second one that I did was belonging. So mirrors, and the 3 different friends are looking into the mirror of their different friends and just seeing how the friends see themselves and how they see their friends as well, and just accepting it. And to me, that's belonging, because sometimes you can be sitting with a whole bunch of people you consider your friends or close to you, but you don't actually, you feel detached from all the people there, either because you feel that they don't see you or you can't see them properly. So that was my image for belonging.
That's such, I feel like that's such a deep image and something quite intricate, actually. I really like that. Really like that perspective. Does anybody else want to share a couple of their words?
Yeah, of course. The 2 that stood out for me were gratitude and belonging. I'm not sure if can you all see? Can you all see?
If you move it out a bit, back a bit, yeah.
All right, so basically gratitude is just basically like me and just like God in there, like just shielding me from things of the world, like plans of the enemy, etc. Like it's a reminder to me that without God, I'm nothing. Without God, I'm a slave to the devil. Without God, I wouldn't be standing here today. And most of all, without God, I don't know what I'd be doing now. Like if I wasn't a Christian, if I wasn't the self-loving, kind, loving, warm-hearted person that I am, I don't know what I'd be doing. It's not for God.
That's good. I really like that. I like how you put yourself kind of in that bubble where God is protecting you, and you visually represented that. I really like that concept. What was so that was gratitude. What was the other one you said that stood out?
Belonging. Okay, wait. Can you see?
Yes, yeah.
Belonging is just another bubble of me, my family, and my close and loved ones, like in it, and the bubbles outside are just thing are just people that are not for us or for me, like traitors, backstabbers, or those that will just play you, etc. This one reminds me that to surround myself with those that are like-minded like me, that are on the same page as me, and those that will help me to level up and go up. Because if I surround myself with those that will just drag me down or make me stoop down to their level, then basically I'm just playing myself, mainly because like I want to set an example for my mother that I can surround myself with good-minded people, and that my mum did raise a nobody. Nor
You've frozen. Okay, yeah, you're back. Yeah, that is really, really powerful, and I really do like that. I like how everybody's interpretations are slightly different, but I feel like without the word even being written, you can kind of identify what these images are about, which is really, really good. Does anybody else want to share?
Well, my one for belonging. I'm not sure how clear that is. That was my one for belonging, and it's quite interesting because my first thought when I was told to reflect on belonging, my first thought was me and like my best friend, like having a drink, whereas most people would naturally gravitate towards family. My sense of belonging definitely comes from friends, believe it or not, over sort of family members in the first thought. So yeah, that for me is quite an interesting one. And the one for me is me doing my thing of being happy and smiley all the time and laughing. All my friends, like any of my friends who speak to, they'll say, "Elle, she's the funniest person I know. Elle, you should be on the stage." But actually, just a little bit underneath, I put a dotted line, and you can see that actually there's a broken heart underneath it. And that to me is like a really good depiction of who I am as a person, because there's so much that goes on underneath it all, but I have got that kind of resilience whereby I can be the happiest person in the room and everyone will be laughing with me. But, you know, I'm not someone who would generally delve into what's going on underneath. So I put a dotted line across where if you go under, there's a bit more under the layers. So yeah, interesting.
Very, very interesting. With your first drawing, that's something I can relate to a lot. Like my sense of belonging also is a lot to do with my friends. My friends have become like the family kind of network that I didn't really have. Like I love my family to bits, but we're not close. Yeah. So my friends, they've taken on that kind of that step, and that's where I see myself belonging. When my mum passed away a few years ago, it was my friends who rallied together and picked me up when my family weren't even checking on me. So it was my friends that came. I had to move out of my house. Guys, the council gave me 7 days to move out of my mum's house that I'd lived there for 15 years. And they gave me 7 days to move into a new place. The place was unfurnished, it was undecorated. And my friends, this family that I've chosen, spent the whole 7 days with me. Every day there was a different rota of people. Like there was the old house crew, the new house crew. We were putting things back and forth. Like there were people in here painting the walls, people doing the flooring in the old house. We had people bagging up stuff. Sometimes it is your friends who are that hold you together. So I can definitely relate. And with your second image, I feel like that's something a lot of people can relate to also. Because you were saying that your friends say that, you know, you're such a kind of big personality and you're really bubbly and like you laugh a lot, and you probably put a smile on everybody's face when you're around them. And I think a lot of people, they forget to check on their friends like you, the strong friend, and the friend that's always smiling, that's always happy, because a lot of the time, those are the people that are dealing with the most. And because I feel like I'm also one of those people. I can smile through anything. And it's difficult because when you're seen as so strong, it can be difficult to also reach out or to actually say, I'm struggling or I need help. And I think we need to get into a place where we're more willing to share, because we can't keep everything in. And if we keep on offloading just to ourselves, it's not really helping. For me, talking to somebody helps. And it's something that I would advise, and I know it can be difficult as well. But we can't be strong forever. We can't be the strong friends forever, and we can't also rely on our strong friends forever. So yeah, your pieces were very, very interesting. And I like that you had wine in your first one. I love a glass of wine. Simone, did you want to share any of your art pieces with us?
All right, I'll take myself on. Okay, so can I just say, really, really good thing you're doing here. Really appreciate the value of this. I was just scrolling through LinkedIn and I saw it and I thought, oh, there's still time. I'm gonna log in. I am not very, well, I've always considered myself not to be very creative or artistic. So obviously I know this is a safe place. So
it's safe, yes.
But I don't know if you can make sense of any of this, but the word I'm focusing on is happiness. And on there I've got really just 3 images. You probably can't make them out, but I'll explain them. And after that I just focused on words because it was taking too much time to produce something that made sense visually, so I just wrote words. But when I was thinking about happiness and the images that came to mind when I think about being happy, specifically what makes me happy, I think of all the things I enjoy doing. So my favorite pastime, you know, what are the things that I do that really, when I'm doing them, I'm genuinely at my most peaceful, most happiest. And some of those things were hiking. I love the outdoors. I really think ecotherapy is a real thing. And I think the value of it is, you know, it's not looked into enough, especially within our communities as well. Like, this is a real healing, magical thing that can go a long way in supporting us and helping us, you know. So especially in this pandemic, you hear a lot of people say, oh, going out for walks is really having a positive impact. So, and I realized that everything I put down here around happiness, like mountains and trees and fresh air, and those are all things that I really anchor into to sustain and maintain my own happiness. And obviously I put people on there as well, because I don't think happiness is totally always outside of people. I think you need a good balance to be happy. I think you need to be happy with yourself and alone by yourself, but also you need people that feeds into that happiness, right? So that for me, it was a good exercise, because then it just reinforces to me that I'm beginning to get clarity and a good understanding about what are the things that I consider to be things that makes me happy. So they're here visually, they're here in my mind. And I understand now that the more I reinforce and practice these habits, it doesn't mean I'm always going to be happy, but at least I know how to be happy. And
exactly.
Yeah, I want to share that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Thank you, because it is important. Sometimes, you know, I randomly ask my friends, what makes you happy? Or if I meet somebody new, I'll ask them, like, what makes you happy? And sometimes people are just like, I don't know. But when you're forced to think, you really have to hone in to what is it? When I do this thing, how do I feel? And like you're saying, like hiking and ecotherapy, I think that's so important. Somebody suggested to me the other day to go and hug a tree outside. I was like, just go outside and just hug a tree. I was like, you know what? I hear that. I hear it. Being out in nature is just so therapeutic, so therapeutic. And I feel like everyone can experience that. And sometimes it is difficult. I live in London, so sometimes it is difficult to find somewhere that's just quiet and that's just full of greenery and maybe away from a lot of people. But even just going for a walk in your local park or stuff like that can really help. But yeah, it is important to know what makes you happy, because when you are down or you're feeling low, it's good to have something that you know can pick you back up. Because sometimes dwelling in these negative thoughts, it just puts us in an even more negative space. Whereas if we can actively work to do these things that do make us happy and not feel guilty for doing that, then I think that's so important. As I mentioned earlier, when my mum passed away, when I said that I would never draw again, and my friends were like, please just draw. And I didn't want to draw because I felt guilty, because drawing made me happy. I think it was even in that moment that I realized that this is probably what I'm supposed to do. I personally feel like it is my calling. And even though this horrible thing happened with my mum passing away, I was able to turn this horrible, horrible, horrible thing into something that gives light and that provides hope and that helps millions of people. Millions of people have seen my art, which is still crazy to me. Mm-hmm. But it's just the fact that this thing that makes me happy, I'm doing it. And I'm healing myself by doing it, but I'm also helping other people. So like stuff that makes you happy, just suggest it to your friends. Ask your friends to come and go on a walk. Ask your friends to come over and have some wine. Just whatever that makes you feel comfortable and just good about yourselves. Let's do more of it. And as you said, like, this pandemic is crazy. We need to be kind to ourselves. We need to treat ourselves a lot more than we do. Because if we're not going to be good to ourselves, how can we expect anybody else to be good to us or to be kind to us or to take that time out? So yeah, amazing.
You said something there that was one of the reasons why I think we all need to take the time to identify and participate in the things that make us happy. Because you said usually the true things that really make us happy are often linked to our purpose. And like your art, that's your purpose, that's your gift to the world, that's what God created you to be, and to, you know, to impact the world through something that makes you happy. So if each of us can begin to identify even those things that seem insignificant and non-essential, like going out on walks and going out on hikes, that could be what you would use to impact one person, 2 people, 3 people. That could be your message to the world. So this thing about happiness is not abstract. There are tangible things, and you need time to think about them and engage in them, and then just watch out. Because I always think the happiest people in the world are the people who are doing what they love and getting paid for it. Like, those are the people I envy.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be like the people that are doing what they love and getting paid for it. I don't think there are happier people than those people, because it's purpose linking, which is, I think, is great.
That is it. And I would agree with you. The happiest people in this world, that's probably what they're doing. I could be a millionaire with a shit job. Like, I'm not going to be happy. Like, I want to do what I love and get paid for doing what I like. Like, that's the dream. When people ask, what's your goals? What's whatever? My goal is just to do what I love and get paid. That's it. That's it. I want to share light, share love, encourage people, but I also have to live. So I have to make a living from that. And if I can, then that's amazing. And you're right, if we all do take the time to really hone in and find these things that make us happy, we could impact other people. And I've been very blessed to impact people with my art. And this next section, I'm just going to show you some of it. So this is a little Zoom art exhibition that you have all been invited to. So I'm going to be showing you some of my pieces. I have created. So, ow, just dropped a lot of canvases on my foot. So, We'll start by showing you one of my earlier pieces. We'll see that. So this piece is called Drowning in Emotions. And this is one of the earlier pieces that I created along with my book image picture. So I'll just show you guys that again. So this was created around the same time. And this was basically depicting how I felt, that I was drowning, but I was literally just above the water. I could just about breathe. And this was around kind of my grief and bereavement. However, a lot of people interpreted it in their own ways, which is the beauty about art. It's not really, even though the artist will always have their reasoning behind creating something, there could be 1,000 different points of view and perceptions on the art. So yeah, this was definitely
Beautiful.
a really important one. Thank you. And I have got this one. So this is called The World in Her Eyes. So if you see, the eyes are the earth, they're the world. So this piece is about when I was a child, I spent a lot of time in Canada with my aunt and my cousins, and my aunt, and this was due to my mum being ill when I was younger because of our health condition. So at one point, my mum, she had open heart surgery, and she was with my dad at the time, but he was working and she was in hospital. So they basically shipped me off to Canada, which I was not complaining about. And my aunt was always somebody that really, really drummed home to me that the world is your oyster, that anything you want to achieve, there is nothing stopping you. And it's just about like a child's innocence and the fact that they have the whole world in front of them. They can achieve anything. And I think kind of for our generations, we need to be encouraging the youth. If we weren't encouraged, it's time for us to change that narrative and to let people know that they can achieve anything. And it doesn't matter about age. I get a lot of people that are like, oh, I really want to do something, but I'm too old. It's not about age. Some people only find their purpose when they're like 50 years old. Like, does that mean that you give up before then? No. If it's something that you're really passionate about or something that you really want to do, you keep doing it.
Do you know that child? Is that based on a child you know? Or is that just an image you thought of? It's you. Oh, beautiful. No, it's a lovely image.
So I don't know if you probably can't see the resemblance, but.
No, but yeah, no, I can now. But now you say it, but it's really, really good.
So it's based off a childhood photograph that I actually took in Canada as well. So my aunt had taken me for a photo shoot. So that's what that photo is based on. And the last time I went to Canada, I gifted my aunt a canvas of that. And basically just explained that this is how you treated me when I was younger, and this is kind of what I grew up knowing and feeling, like just being powerful and knowing that I can do anything. So thank you. So it was a really nice moment. And then this is another piece. And again, I think this speaks to society a lot of the time with us. And also to your image, Elshina, as well. That you created with, you're all laughing, and then under the surface, this is how it really is. Like, there's depression, there's anxiety, there's negative thoughts, there's negative things that are going on, but you constantly put on a smile to everybody.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Amazing.
I'll show you guys a few more. And this next piece I'm about to show you, I actually got trolled really, really heavily because of this. And it was the first time I really experienced like a barrage of like negative comments, but this image got trolled because somebody said she's crying because she doesn't have an iPhone. So that is, yeah.
Android for life.
Yeah, exactly. Android for life. Who are they even? Like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? So literally, people started to troll me on the internet because I had a Samsung. Like, they didn't even take in the image. But anywho, this is an important image as well. If you can't read it, it says, "How are you?" And the person replies saying, "I'm fine." And again, it's me in the art. I do a lot of art around myself because I like to put myself in these situations because they're things that I feel, and yeah, it's just how I can relate. So this, I think we're probably all guilty for doing at some point when your friends ask, how are you? Like, yeah, I'm fine, babe. Yeah, I'm good. But really, if we took the time and we had, I guess, we just let ourselves go a bit more, we could say, you know what? I'm not okay today. Or, you know what? I could be better. Or, today I'm feeling down. It's okay. Like, our friends and our family are people who care about us. So why should we be scared to go to them with our issues, or be scared to just tell them the truth? And this piece, I actually wrote a poem that goes with it. So I'll be performing that to you guys later as well. But yeah, so it's one of my favorites, even though people were hating on my Samsung, but who cares anyways? So a couple more that I'll show you. This is called Meditation. So it just kind of speaks on what we were doing earlier. And it's just somebody, this is actually my friend. One day she came over and she was sitting in my room, and she turned to the side, and I was like, oh my gosh, do not move. I need to take a picture. And I just took a picture and I drew the Africa earring in and the sunset, just because when I think of meditation as well, I do sometimes picture myself just in front of a sunset or on a beach, or just, for me, meditation is a lot about colors and just really a peaceful scene. So this is, and it's a favorite with my customers as well. A lot of people buy this one. And this, my beloved Bob Marley. And the story behind this piece, I went to Jamaica, and I was flying to Canada, and I had just come from the Bob Marley Museum, and I was feeling so inspired. So on the flight from Jamaica to Canada, I created this basically. And also, I haven't actually said how I create my art. So my art is created on my iPad, which I've got here. Wow. And I use my finger. I'm not swearing, I use my middle finger to create my art. So I literally draw, this is how I draw my iPad. So everything that I'm showing you is digital art, created on an iPad and printed on canvas, basically. So yeah, this was my Bob Marley, and I love it because I feel like the eyes are so striking, and I feel like they really kind of speak to me when I see it. And then just a couple last ones. This piece is actually in my book as well, and this piece is called Home or Go Home. Don't remember my own pieces. But it's just about my Jamaican and British identity and how sometimes I feel like I don't belong in either. One of the themes that we explored earlier was belonging. And even though I feel like I belong in the UK, I also feel like I belong in Jamaica, but then people in both countries make me feel like I don't belong there. So it is sometimes a battle, but I really wanted to create this to depict that, basically. And then the last one that I'm going to show you, oh, got two more actually. So this is one called Beauty Marked. And if I hold it in, can you see the stretch marks?
Yeah. Beautiful.
This was just a piece for everyone, but especially for my ladies, because sometimes we can feel very self-conscious about our God-given bodies, and there is nothing wrong with stretch marks. I have them everywhere, especially being tall. I had stretch marks from when I was like 13, and I just embrace them, and that's why the piece is called Beauty Marked, because they're marks of beauty. They're not ugly, they're not, you know, not visually appealing. They're just part of us. So yeah, I really wanted to do this piece to kind of accept and help other women accept, basically, yeah, what our bodies are like. So I'm going to show you one more. And this piece is an ode to my childhood. And I think possibly a lot of people's childhoods. Michael, I don't know if you had hair growing up, but if you did, you may have also experienced this.
It's amazing that that's yours. I've seen that so many places. I didn't know that's yours.
Have you?
Oh my God, it's amazing.
So yeah, this the little girl is obviously crying because her mama is doing her hair, and again the mom, it's me in the face. So this piece was really just about just growing up and how, you know, we always say beauty is pain, and I used to cry when my mum did my hair. Cry. I used to get hit in the head with a comb when I moved, everything. However, it was definitely character building. And when I look back on it, those were the times that I bonded with my mum. Those were the times that we would have conversations, that we would talk about stuff. And at the end of it, I would have my little cane rose and I'd be happy. I'd be like, okay, look at me, got new hair. So yeah, I see a lot of debates actually on this piece of work online. And a lot of people think it's about this little girl hating her hair, and that's why she's crying. But that's not the case. So if you ever see someone say that, tell them, no, I know the artist and that's not true. It's not about hating your hair at all. It's just about literally being tender-headed and just, as I said, an ode to my childhood. It's not really a negative painting. It's just kind of remembering and reminiscing on those times. So yeah, this is probably one of my favorite pieces. Yeah. So actually we'll stick with this one for the next art exercise. So when I create art, as I said to you guys, I create it on my iPad and I use my finger. But before this process, what I do is a lot of research into what I'm going to create. So this image, I had an idea in my mind about what I wanted to create. However, I didn't know how to execute it. So what I typically do is I use Google and I use Pinterest, and I go on there and I try to find images that link into the theme that I'm doing or the painting that I want to do. Yeah, so that's how I start with my paintings, basically. So, one second. So, yeah, so I do a lot of research, basically, and then I put loads of reference images together, and then I use that to create something. So, to create this, I went and looked online. I typed in mums doing hair, black mums doing hair, black daughters, Afro hair, loads of different things to kind of get an idea. And because also with angles, I can't imagine every angle. I'm quite bad at that. So I had to get like the angle of the hands. I had to figure out how that works as well. So I had to figure out those angles as well. So the next exercise that I'm going to be setting for you guys is, it's going to be, it's a shorter exercise than the first one, but what I want you to do is think about an emotion, and I want you guys to create one piece of art. It doesn't have to be big. If you have another piece of paper, it can be half of the piece of paper, or it could be the whole thing. I want you to think about an emotion, and I want you to depict that emotion on your piece of paper. So I'm just gonna, someone's just in the waiting room. 1 second. Hi, Lala. So what we're doing, Lala, is we're just doing an art exercise. Do you have a piece of paper and a pencil? If you do, please get that together. But what we're doing, as I was explaining, with my art, I do a lot of research beforehand, and I collate reference images, and I do a lot of research about the topic. So with this, I was just saying that I went on Pinterest and Google, and 1 second, please. The people in my house don't respect me. So I was just saying that I typed in a lot of stuff around Afro hair, Black daughters, Black mums, getting your hair done, and collated loads of those images, and then that helped me form this final image. So my task for you guys is to think of an emotion. So earlier, some of the words that we went through, you may actually want to focus on one of those as well. So it can be an emotion, or it can be a word. So the themes that we looked at before was loyalty, self-love, happiness, safety, fear, gratitude, belonging, and also yourselves. So think of an emotion or a word that you want to portray. I know earlier you had 1 minute to create these mini masterpieces. Now I'm going to give you at least, let's say about 10, just under 10 minutes. So go onto Google, look for some reference images. If your word is forgiveness, type in forgiving, type in somebody forgiving somebody else, type in whatever you want to do, and go on Google Images. If you have Pinterest, go on Pinterest and try to look at these reference images to help you and help form this mini art piece that you're going to create. As I said, it's a safe space. I've seen all your artworks and they're good. Lala, I know you can draw, so don't shake your heads. You can unmute yourself. Come and tell us about how great of an artist you are. No? Okay. Well, I believe in you all. So yeah, I'm going to give you some time and just try to create a mini art piece based on one word. So it can be a theme, an emotion, anything like that. And try to use these tools, these research tools, to help form this picture, because it's not easy to just create things from your mind like we did earlier. You all did well. Go on, Lala.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to unmute it. Sorry, my bad. Why are you gassing me up? You haven't seen my art. You've seen me do makeup. It's similar, but it's not.
Makeup and art, I like this.
I know, but it's not quite the same. So don't gas me too much, okay? And it's a safe space. I'm happy to be here. But yeah, just don't sweat like too much. Don't sweat too much. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Okay. Well, I believe in you all. I know you missed our first art exercise, but it was really, really good, and everybody really created some really deep images which were based off words that I gave them 1 minute to depict on a piece of paper. So now is the bigger exercise. So I'm going to leave you guys to go do a little bit of research to create, and then we're going to do a mini show and tell. I believe in you guys, okay? I believe in you guys. As I said, safe space. I'm not looking for a Picasso piece. I'm looking for emotion, thought, and just some creativity. Lala, if you don't want to draw, if you want to maybe do a makeup look in
How long do I have?
10 minutes. I'm going to give you guys 10 to 15 minutes. So whatever form you want to do this creative exercise on, I'm going to give you guys that freedom. Does anybody have any questions? No. Okay, so good luck. I'm going to be here. I'm going to create something as well on my iPad. So yeah, just be free and just let me know if you need anything. I am just taking a toilet break, so I will be back. Guys, also take this time to have a little comfort break. If you want to get something to eat, use the toilet. I hope you're all being creative and finding your references. Please put in the group if you if you have any questions or anything like that. So I hope you are well into your creative exercise. I'm going to give you guys 4 more minutes to formulate something. So at past, we're going to start to come back, and then you guys can show everybody, if you're comfortable with it, what you created around this word or this theme that you've been doing your research into as well. Wow, you guys are on time. Okay. I did say past. All right. So I've been drawing something as well. And I am excited first to hear how you found the experience. Was this easier than your first art exercise? Or was it more difficult? And how did you find like the research bit as well? So if anybody is willing to share, let us know. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna eat like a squares because I'm hungry and I just need a snack. But yeah, so how did you guys find this this activity?
It wasn't bad actually. The first one was pretty much like a follow-up to the second one. The first one was just like practice, and then the second one is now try something of your own and yeah, put it together.
For me, it was a bit difficult. It felt more abstract to me because now I really had to think about what word resonates with me. How do I view, why have I now picked this word? Why does it resonate with me? So to stop myself going down the rabbit hole, I just picked the first word that popped up in my head and Googled it.
What was that word?
Journey.
Okay.
Am I next?
Yeah. You can go next.
For me, oh God, there's a snail on my window. For me, it was a big jump because I didn't do the first project.
Yeah.
And I also didn't know that I had to do any kind of art. I thought I was just gonna watch Kirsty do her magnificentness, and that was it. So I was kind of taken by surprise, hence my extreme facial reactions. But it was interesting to see like what I choose and why I choose it, because I think a lot of people probably wouldn't have expected me to choose what I chose. Yeah, if you understand what I'm saying.
What was your word or phrase?
Universe.
Pardon?
The universe. Kirsty, knowing you think that you would have guessed I would have chosen something like that?
No.
Yeah, do you see what I mean?
Interesting. Okay. So, is anybody willing to share with us what they created and maybe give us a little bit of a description as to why?
I'll show mine. Mine is not, it's not obviously the best art because I'll be honest, I didn't really do a lot of the research side because I wanted to take the time to focus on the drawing. So the emotion is something that I'm interested in. I'm enthralled by it. I'm sure it exists. I just haven't seen of it, and it is male grief. So this picture, so like I've tried to capture like the masculine side, the clenched jaw. There's some teeth in there, quite clenched, trying to hide away, you know, the sense of grief. We've got the tears. I've tried to depict more of like a river of tears at the bottom. It's not a jumper. It's actually a river of tears. I know this must happen, but I've never had any like personal experience or seen it. So it just, it intrigues me. I'd like to know more whether or not it exists.
Male grief. Wow. I do really like that theme. I really like that theme because even in my book, I speak about it as well. A lot of the time with men, because society portrays them in a certain way, they feel like they can't show their true feelings, or if they're down, they can't express it. I'll quickly show you a piece I have in here as well.
Yes.
And I feel that's awful. I do feel like men get a really hard time in society. And you're right, like I've never really seen, apart from my mum passed away, my brother grieved, I didn't really see a lot of that. And even speaking about that, I didn't see him grieve that much. It was just the day that she passed away, and then the funeral, I saw him cry, and then that was it. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of conversations that need to be had around kind of how we can help men as well in society and how we can provide these safe spaces. But this is a piece that I have in my book. So it says, yo, I'm feeling kind of depressed. And the friend says, bro, you need to man up. And I feel like this is a problem that we face, especially, I would say, with Black men as well in society, because they're meant to be the pillars and they're meant to be strong, and boys don't cry and boys don't show emotion, which is just completely false, completely false. And I just need everybody to get away from this. Like, when a guy is feeling down, why are you telling him to man up? What does that even mean? Like, manning up is coming and saying, listen, I'm going through something, because it takes courage. Even for us women as well, it takes courage, and it does take time. So yeah, really liked your theme. Again, it's not something that I would have guessed that you would have picked, but it's so interesting, and I'm glad that you explored that. Does anybody else want to share?
All right. My piece is called Being Drained. Like, you know, when you're just going through life and you're just being drained of like everything, your finances, your free time, people begging you for stuff and not repaying you, people taking you for granted, etc. I feel like this is something that everyone like goes through, like even like the strongest people. Like, just because someone's strong or someone's not going through the same stuff that you're going through, it doesn't mean they ain't going through something. They could be going through stuff just as worse as you, or even go through stuff behind closed doors that you might not even know about. So I feel like this is something like everyone can like relate to, and men especially, like as the first piece explained, like, yeah.
I really like that. Can you just hold it up again? I think I missed the bottom of it. So hold it up a bit. Okay. Yeah, I really like that. Really like that. Thank you. Yeah, I've been feeling so drained recently. I think probably a lot of us have, with everything that's going on. So I think that image is actually quite fitting as well. Does anybody else feel comfortable to share what they created?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me turn my camera back on. Yeah, so this is mine. On my camera, it's mirrored. I don't know if it shows the right way for you guys, but basically this is Journey, and I don't know if you can see, that's like the location tag, and that's me. And then basically there's the lines underneath spelling the word to wherever my journey is going, but it's linked to a hangman kind of thing. And sometimes it just feels like when you're going through the journey of life that sometimes you can feel like you only have a few chances before all your chances are up. So you need to be careful and methodological with what moves you take. And even when you take those moves, you don't know where they're going to go. So that's my picture Journey.
I really like that concept. I really like that concept, and I like how you included like the game of hangman as well in it. I think that's really interesting. And journey, just as a theme, is very interesting in itself, because we're all on different journeys, and it's important to remember that we're all on journeys at a different time, and we're in a different place in our journeys. I find
exactly.
Sometimes we can look at somebody else and be like, wow, how did they achieve that, or how did they do that so quickly, or whatever. But in reality, we are staring at somebody else's chapter 50 when we're at our chapter 5 and comparing ourselves, like, it's not going to be the same.
Exactly. That's something that I've like consolidated within myself. Like I don't really look at other people. I always try and look within myself and where I am. And I always kind of, it reminds me of that song lyric, life is a journey, not a destination. And that's, and I always say like life is school as well. You're never going to stop learning. So that's kind of how, but you can't help yourself. Some days, no matter what kind of progress you've made, some days you're just going to sit there and be like, well, when is my time? When is the time that I can say I've made it, or I've got to where I envision myself to be? And sometimes you just need to look back at what you've already achieved and the hurdles you've already overcome.
Exactly. I think that is such an important point, because we can be super hard on ourselves, but if we took the time to literally write out every hurdle that we've overcome, and the fact that we're still alive, we're still here, we're still breathing, we're still succeeding, that's just testament to our character is testament to just everything around us. The fact that we can keep on going, and everything that we've been through, it has shaped us, even the negative things, unfortunately, but they still play a part in shaping us, even if it's knowing how to deal with these situations in the future, or the type of situations to stay away from. Like, everything is a journey and everything is a learning process. So yeah, I really, really liked your concepts. So I really like that. Is there anybody else that wants to share?
So I'll share really quickly. Sit up, I'm in bed. So I don't know if you can make this out, right? I don't know if you can actually see that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move. You can see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the word I've chosen is fear, and it's an image of 2 characters. There's one, a person, and there's this other image of this huge, humongous figure or thing that's, it's scary, it's frightening, it's got 2 boxing gloves on, it's ready to kick your butt. But what's interesting about it is that the man person also has 2 boxing gloves ready to fight. But I don't know if you can see, I wanted to try and capture, oh, did I lose the camera? Sorry. I wanted to try and capture from this bit, like almost this thing that's attacking the man is coming out from the man. So, you know, when we think about fear, are we fighting something outside of ourselves, or are we fighting something we've created ourselves? But it's been magnified to look so scary and so overwhelming that you feel you can't take it on. But actually, this thing is coming outside of you. You're creating your own fears when you put limitations on your life and have limiting beliefs about what you can and you can't achieve. You want to fight, you're terrified. You are terrified. You've managed to put your hand up. So like you're saying, if we give ourselves credit for what we are able to do every single day, it might be a small thing. Now, he doesn't look like he's in the middle of fighting, but he's got his hands up. That's all he can afford to do right now. Do you understand? So it's trying to depict that sometimes the things, the fear that we have, and my daughter helped me with this is supposed to be a boxing ring. Okay. So she thought, Mommy, why don't you just add a boxing ring? So thank you for that, Grace. But what I wanted to capture with fear basically is that sometimes, or most times, or probably in all cases, the fear that we limit on ourselves and on our life are sometimes things we created. They're not outside of ourselves, they're inside of us, emanating, and they've been magnified because society tells us, well, you should be afraid of this. Do you know what I mean? If this happens, this should be a scary thing. They've almost told us what to be afraid of, and we believe it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to capture here with this image.
That is amazing. Honestly, like these concepts, guys, it's amazing. That concept, I like it, especially because of one thing you said, like the scary figure is attached to the person. Sometimes, you know, we do create sometimes situations that we think we can't control, but we can, because a lot of them have come from our thoughts or our feelings or something that's within us. Like, we are always in control. One of the affirmations earlier on today was, I am the architect of my own life. And we're always in control. It may not feel like it, but we have control over our lives. No matter if things happen, we still have a decision if we're going to go down one road or the other. We still have the power and we still have the influence over our own lives to make these decisions. And with things around fear, I think, as you were saying, like, society does condition us a lot to be afraid of so much and to even like stay away from certain things. But really, if we always have them boxing gloves on, we can achieve anything, and we can fight away these fears. We can kind of proceed and not be in a position where we're constantly in the corner of the boxing ring, cowering and not knowing how to move or what's the next step. I think, yeah, we definitely have that power, and I really like that depiction of the word fear. Yeah. Lala, are you there? Did you want to share the universe depiction that you did?
Sure. Give me 30 seconds.
Okay.
And I will do that for you.
Okay, cool. But yeah, guys, I am really impressed with these concepts. I feel like every time I do these workshops, I'm like, wow, everyone can really draw. Everyone is just really just so creative, but like the level of creativity that I've seen today has a lot of depth and intelligence to it as well, which is good. I like a lot of my paintings, they are more than just pretty pictures. They do have a message, and that's why I like this exercise as well, because like, you've created a message in these art pieces that you probably, I don't know if you intentionally even meant to, but when you do create art around certain themes and certain topics, it's a message that you're kind of sharing. So yeah, you guys have done amazing. You nearly ready, Lala?
Yeah, one. Hang on, just spray in my face.
Okay. So did you do a makeup inspired look then?
I did, and I'm basically ready. Okay, so my my word was universe, and I did makeup because I'm very impatient when it comes to drawing. As Kirsty said, yeah, I might be good at it, but I'm just very impatient. So it takes me a lot longer to do something half decent or even translate what I'm trying to say in 10 minutes. So I thought it would be just easier just to do a makeup look. I chose the word universe because I've been kind of looking into that recently. Something popped up on Instagram not long ago about my star sign, which is Libra. And it said something to do with, I should have actually like got the actual sentence, but I didn't want to log out of the meeting because I don't know how to come back in. But yeah, basically what it was saying is that every star sign is linked to the universe. It was saying something like Libra has Venus, diamonds of Venus, or the voice of Saturn or something like that. And basically every sign was basically linked to like certain planets and certain aspects of the universe. And I just thought, oh, that's interesting. So I started to try and like dive deeper, but I couldn't find the specific information that I was looking for. And then it made me just think about like how I navigate in my day-to-day life when it comes to trying to keep myself safe and like mentally at peace. And a lot of the time I use crystals and meditation, and all those stuff kind of gets like linked back to the universe as well. A lot of these things are made from the earth, and just I've been doing a lot of thinking of how everything is just connected, especially when, you know, at these times we're going through a lot of hardships and people have had enough, including myself. And it just made me realize that, you know, people speak a lot about energy and what you put out there is what you get back. But a lot of the time that isn't always the case if you're a Black person or person of color. And so, you know, speaking of control, like you mentioned earlier about having control over your life, the only thing that's in my control is, like you said, how you respond to things. And my response all the time isn't always the best, but I know that a lot of the time I do prefer to communicate my feelings and thought through art, which is something that I have done quite often during this lockdown, especially. And just knowing that how connected I feel to all of the things that go on around me, for some reason, every time I think of like anything, it could be literally any topic, there's always a way to link it back to the universe. So I just thought that was just the perfect thing to kind of bring everything together. And these colors just reminded me of that. Even the palette I use is literally inspired by the universe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The colors in the palette are, whoops, my gosh. See, I always come out of it. How the hell do I come back in? Meetings. How do I come back in?
Click. Oh, I don't even know. You're on an iPhone as well, aren't you? Oh, no, you're
No,
not.
I'm on a Google. Meetings, contacts. No, where's meeting in progress? That's what it should tell me.
I wish I could help you.
This is so annoying. I did it earlier and then I figured it out. Hang on.
If you click the Zoom, do you have the Zoom app?
Yeah, I'm on the app.
And what can you see?
I can see meet and chat at the bottom. I can see, back to meeting. Okay, found it. Sorry, guys.
Found it in the end.
Yeah, so in the palette, it's inspired by the universe as well. The colors are Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, Neptune, cosmic, dimension, retrograde, you know. Oh, and speaking of dimensions, and like, even to go on a little bit more and speak about like not when you start to focus on not just like in the dimension that we're in, and when you think about like the kind of dimensions that you enter when you go to sleep, when you dream. I'm such a deep dreamer, like my dreams are very vivid. So it's like, and I'm a big fan of horror films, and a lot of the time when you watch certain films and they show you about and they teach you about demons and where this demon came from, and if you know the demon's name, then you have authority over it. And like, I know it's going a bit too deep for some people, so I apologize, but like, I just feel like it's so crazy how you can take that one thing, that one line from a horror film and apply it to your everyday life. Because I thought to myself, it's so true that once you know what something is, you do have authority over it and you are able to take control and like defeat it if you need to. So it's the same way how like that's a demon you're sending back to hell, the same way how you can use that with like people in life, the same way you can use it with like other situations. So yeah, I just think the universe just connects everything, and I'm just here for that.
I love that, and I especially love what you said at the end as well. Once you know what something is, you have that control over it. So that's, I think that, as you said, it can be applied to everything in life, or most things, like anything negative. Once you know and once you've identified what that thing is, you already have the control, because that's the first step. You've identified, you know what it is. If it's like trying to fight an invisible monster, like how are you going to defeat it if you don't even know what it is? You don't know what it looks like. You don't know what form it takes. You can't. But once you can see this physical thing, you're able, okay, let me make a plan. Okay, how do I tackle this? What should my reaction be? How is this going to help me? How may this hinder me? How could I turn this into a positive situation? There's so many ways to look at it. So many ways. But I loved the link to the universe. The colors are amazing. Like they pop as well, so much on your skin, like beautiful. So thank you, very interesting. Okay, so If there's anybody else that wants to share, say now or forever hold your peace. Okay, you're going to hold your peace. So literally the last section that we're going to do is going to be really, really quick, and it's the poetry section. So I'm actually going to perform a couple poems for you. And then we're going to do a group exercise where you're all going to get creative, and we're going to do a group poem together. Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So, as I explained earlier, the reason why we're here today is because of my publishers Own It. We are doing the Own It Festival, which includes all of us authors who Own It look after. They published my debut art and poetry book. So they've given us this platform. I chose to do a workshop because I really like to get into this space where I'm personal with people. I like to do these tasks because I like to get people thinking as well, and just get people creative. And sometimes being forced to do creative tasks, it helps. And it makes you think a lot more. Simone says, I thought you already challenged me with drawing, but poetry, yes. Today is about challenge and just doing something new. What else would you be doing with your Wednesday? Do you know what I mean? So you can rest and be creative at the same time. Yeah. So I'm going to be reading you a poem from my book. This poem is called Mr. Wrong, and this is the image that goes with it, shining a bit, and then this is the poem. Okay, I'm gonna stop my music. The pain in my chest is incurable, excruciating, painful, not durable. No doctor can save me, this load is too weighty, my heart is tearing, my patience is wearing, the question reoccurring, the answer I'm yearning. When will you love me back? My soul aches as it searches for a reason why I'm not good enough every passing season. My heart stands alone, an empty flask, craving your liquid love, in it I will bask. I need you to feel what I am feeling. Every day and night I find myself kneeling, praying to God with all my might, begging for love, for Mr. Right, but he never comes, so I settle for less, and in turn, I become used to being second best. Mr. Right now tells me he loves me, and that's good enough, so I give him my body, my love, and my trust, but he abuses it, and the pain starts again, wondering if he'll love me, and if so, when. The pain in my chest increases. Neglection, rejection, they're tearing me to pieces, an unwanted toy. I sit on the shelf, wishing I knew the worth of myself, wanting the love I rightly deserve. Requited and pure, my heart now reserved. So I'll sit here and wait for my happiness to appear, and hope it comes soon, because I've been waiting for years. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So that is one of my pieces. I can click as well. And the next piece that I am going to do is related to the image that I showed you earlier. So I promised that I would give you guys the poem to this. Remember, it was a piece that people said she's crying because she doesn't have an iPhone. So this poem is about an iPhone. No, I'm joking, it's not. But the poem is called A Letter to My Friends. When you ask me how I am and I say that I'm fine, I have a confession, and it's that I have been lying. It's easier to lie than to explain my mood, easier to turn to other vices like comfort food. I don't know how to explain the way I've been feeling. Every day I wake up wishing I was still dreaming, because the dream world is easier, no complications. Nothing can stop me. I have no limitations. But back in the real world, depression is real. It makes me withdrawn and incapable of saying how I feel. It eats me up and life becomes a chore. And sometimes I just don't want to talk about it anymore. But I don't want to worry you with all of my issues. So I just tend to confide in my box of tissues. Your love is not disputed. I know that you care. You're one call away and will always be there, but sometimes it's difficult to be so transparent, especially when my behavior becomes so apparent. So I'm sorry for lying, but at least now you know that I'm not being difficult. It's just hard to show my feelings inside and how they're affecting me. I'm learning to deal with my problems effectively. Next time you ask me how I am, I won't say I'm fine. Unless it's the truth, I am so done with lying. I'll tell you the truth if my tears are falling. And if a bad mood comes on without warning, I'll give you a text if I need an ear, or I'll give you a call if I need you here. Thank you.
Wow. Yes. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So you can hear my clicks this time.
So those are two of my, I would say two of my favorite poems. And the way I write my poetry is I tend to think of, firstly, what theme am I writing about? And I just start with one line and I try to focus on the end word. So with the first poem I read, the pain in my chest is incurable. So incurable was the word that I decided that I wanted to end it on. So I literally go through the alphabet and I will look at what words rhyme with incurable. So I'll say, I'll go through the A's, then the B's, C's until I got to D, and I was like, oh, okay, durable, incurable. Okay, that works. And then once I've got the word, I try to figure out the sentence before it, if that makes sense. So I do kind of work backwards. It is quite weird, but that's my process. So I tend to think of a word and think of all the rhyming words and see how I can use it. So if I say, I looked out of my window and I saw the sky, then I'll think, okay, what rhymes with sky? By, kai, thy, phi, fry, and I'll literally go through like that. So then I'll say, okay, the word I'm gonna pick is by. So I looked out of my window and I saw the sky. There was somebody outside, so I waved goodbye. So I just try to think of a sentence that makes sense. This is not the method that I am gonna ask you guys to do, but what we are gonna do is do a group poem together. So we're gonna pick something easy and we're all gonna say one line. So try to think of words that rhyme and we're all gonna say a line from the poem. So who wants to like dictate a theme or like, what should we do?
I've got this idea. It'd be great to see what other people think about it. And it's obviously around a very fitting topic, one that we're experiencing at the moment, obviously with everything going on in the world. And I just wrote a title for my poem because I thought I was going to have to do it all on myself and I didn't know what I was going to do. But the title I've written down is A Life Reimagined. Like a life different from the one that we've known going forward as a people, as individuals, as a race. How could we reimagine our life to see the changes that would enable us to participate as members of every society in which we are presented? So how do we now have a new vision for our life? How do we imagine, do you know what I mean? From where we're coming from, how can we reimagine our life, and what could I create around that? So I don't know what people think about that, and obviously I'm sure there are many more suggestions, but I just thought a life reimagined, reimagine a future, reimagine a destiny, reimagine a society where we're not held down, bound, and we have all the opportunities and resources at our disposal to be the best that we can be without oppression. What would that look like in words? That got me thinking. And by the way, if nobody does this, this is something I'm going to do on my own, because it spoke to me straight away. And it's
powerful, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry?
That will take a lot of thought at this moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For me, that's the image that came, that's the thought that came to my mind. So something I'll do anyway, but as you asked for ideas, I thought I'll put that out there. Obviously, we'll share. Yeah.
So I'm going to help you guys out a little bit with this. So I think we can do something around that topic, but basically we're going to start with, the poem is going to start with, when I imagine my future, I know that it's bright. So the word is going to be bright. I'm now writing in loads of words that rhyme with bright to help you guys, but you all have to pick one and think of the sentence. So I'm going to help you guys. So I wrote some now. I'm going to keep on writing. And if you guys have any more.
Right. Sight. Flight. Insight.
Okay, poet.
Yeah, I used to write poetry years ago. I'm not trying to, show off.
Okay, poet. So you will be going first.
Okay.
Okay. So, are these enough words for everybody? Do you think you can work with these?
Yes.
I like that. That's a nice one. Who said shy?
It rhymes. It rhymes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start. So let's get our order of poets. So I will start. Lala will go next. Who is volunteering to be line number 3? Michael, amazing. Line number 4, Simone. And line number 5 is Elshina. Woo! Okay, so I think.
Yeah, but not right now. I'm on the phone. 1 second. Sorry, my mum. Go on.
Okay, so when I imagine my future, I know that it's bright.
I mean, it would be nice to get married once I find Mr. Right.
Just want to imagine, like, where I'm no longer having to fight for what's right or what's needed.
Imagine a future we as a people can rewrite. Like rewrite.
Whose turn is it?
I would have had much more confidence were it not for my height.
I like that.
Okay. I like that. All right. Let's do one more. And I think we're going to close because we're just over the time a little bit. Does anybody else have a theme or like a word that we can do a quick poetry activity on?
Maybe a word that isn't used enough. That's normally like a hard rhyming word. Like people
Ooh.
would say don't use orange in garbage and stuff like that. Like I always get impressed when I hear rappers use words that like that in their verses, because I'm like, wow, you actually made it work.
Okay. So I tried to be difficult and use the word difficult, but apparently there's no rhymes. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's words spelt the same, but they don't sound the same. That's interesting. What about assault though? Assault, like the ending kind of sounds similar.
I don't even know if there's words like that. Okay, so I picked the word visible. There's not many words that rhyme. So basically, another tool I use is called Rhyme Zone. So I type in a word and it finds all the rhymes. So visible, the rhymes admissible, demissable, despicable. Okay, this isn't a good one.
Despicable?
Nah, I'll shelve that.
We're gonna do an easy one. Let's do it. Our brains are not really working, all right? So we're gonna do mad.
Oh gosh, okay. How we're all feeling at the moment.
Yes. So shout out some words that rhyme with mad.
Sad.
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 Yeah.
Fad.
Bad.
Tad, as in a tad bit. Yeah. Glad? Who said? Did anyone say glad yet?
I think so.
Okay.
Comrade.
Oh, that's a good one.
Granddad.
Oh yeah, I like that one too.
Okay.
This is gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard, but guess what? We've been challenged today, and guess what? We didn't die. We're still here. So, and we all did these challenges. Okay, so have a look at the words, and we're gonna start because we're not trying to give you too much time to think because your brain is already creative. So we're doing the same order.
Okay.
Everything that's going on in the world has made me so mad.
But if I was to behave like all the white people did, then that would make me bad.
Rage seeing white people and people's just disregarding the lives of our Black kings and queens.
Say that again, Michael.
I'm raged at seeing white people disregard the lives of our Black kings and queens, thinking that we're disposable.
Wow, you caught me there. I'm having to think now.
Let's use one of the words that we wrote.
Right, okay, let me go back to the chat.
There's not a lot for mad, but there's a few.
Thinking word disposable. All this systems of oppression makes me sad.
Yeah.
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 That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Mm.
And to even think of giving up would be disrespectful to my granddad.
Oof.
No, listen.
Speak it.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
I Love that, guys.
Wow.
I love that. I love that. Okay. So guys, thank you. This brings us basically to the end. Very sad, the end of today's workshop. Thank you for sticking with me. We've done a lot today. So we obviously started with some mindfulness. We did some meditations with breathing, and then we went on to some affirmations. And I just want to end with saying a couple of the affirmations that we did in the beginning. So I'm just going to go to them now. I am, sorry, and when I say them, you can repeat them after me. I am the architect of my life.
I am the
Architect of my life.
I am loved.
I am loved.
I am worthy.
I am worthy.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am a conqueror.
I
am a conqueror.
I am more than a conqueror.
I am more than a conqueror.
I have been given endless talents.
I have been given
endless talent.
Today I abandon old habits.
Today I
abandon old habits.
And take up more positive ones.
And take up more positive ones.
I have a voice.
I have a voice.
And I will continue using my voice.
And I will continue using my voice.
I am special.
I'm special.
I am gifted.
I am
gifted.
And I am amazing.
And I am amazing.
Good. Guys.
All are amazing.
One of you are amazing. I've had a fantastic time doing this workshop with you guys. And yeah, just going through everything, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the meditation. I enjoyed the art segment, where I really got to see how creative you guys were. And even though some of you, I banned the whole "I'm not good at art" comment, but those of you who may have thought that you weren't good at art, you created some really, really powerful and really beautiful pieces of art. And the poetry section, if we had more time, we could have just gone round, so many different rounds, because you guys were picking it up so quickly. So yeah, I just want to really, really thank you for coming to the workshop today. And yeah, if you want to follow me, find out more about me, I'm going to just put my @ in the chat as well if you guys aren't following me already. So my name is Kirsty Latoya, also known as KirzArt, and you can Google me. I'm Googleable, which is crazy. But yeah, you can Google me, you can check me out on social media. And if you are interested in my debut book, Reflections of Me, it is available on my publisher's website with free shipping. That's right, I said free shipping. Worldwide as well. Or you can pick it up on eBay, Amazon, all of that good stuff. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time out today to come and experience this with me. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsty.
Thank you. It was amazing. I'm so happy I was scrolling through LinkedIn and found this. Thank you for this.
God bless you, Kirsty, for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So yeah, if hopefully I do more workshops in the future, so please encourage your friends if you ever see me posting it up or anything like that. But thank you guys, stay blessed and have a wonderful rest of the week.
You too.
You too.
You too. All of you guys, take care of yourselves.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.